Hey Daydreamers, it's Alex and today I'm doing the mid-year book freakout tag. So I'll leave all of the questions in the tag in the description box below. There are, I think, 3 that I'm not going to answer because I don't have an answer for, but I will leave them down below as well, so if you want to answer them, you can still find them. And let's get started. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2020, and for this one I went with Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. Cassandra Clare is my favourite author. I've been reading the Shadowhunter books, I think since maybe City of Ashes or City of Glass came out, so very early on. So been a fan for a very long time. I was highly anticipating this one. I loved it. It was 5 stars. Amazing. My favourite Shadowhunter series is the Infernal Devices, so I'm really happy to be back in that sort of era with those characters and their children, and it was everything. And I'll leave my review linked for it down below so you can check that out. So the second question is the best sequel of 2020 so far, and the one I picked didn't come out this year, but I read it this year, so I'm counting it, and that's A Girl Called Shameless by Laura Stephen. Book 1, The Exact Opposite of OK, was one of my favourite books. I think it was in 2018 that I read it. Absolutely adored it, and I've been dying to read this one. It took me ages to get around to it and I have no idea why, but I finally read it this year. Loved it just as much. Once again, I will leave my review down below. I'll also leave my review for book 1 if you want to check that out, and I highly recommend this series. It's a very feminist series and it's very funny, and I just think everyone should read it, and I love it so much. So the next question is a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and for that I've gone with The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackworth. This just sounds amazing. It's about a library in hell where all the unfinished books go, and sometimes the characters try to escape to get their author to finish their book, and so there is a librarian to stop that from happening and keep them in. And I believe in this book one of the characters from a book escapes, but something goes wrong and it all gets really serious and really bad, and I'm just really excited to read it. Books about books I will always be down to read. The next question is most anticipated release of the second half of 2020, and for this I have a few. So first of all, Loveless by Alice Oseman. I'm so excited to read this. I love Alice Oseman and I'm really excited about more books with asexual rep. This one has asexual and a romantic rep, I believe, but I'm asexual, so I'm very excited about more books with asexual rep, so I really can't wait to read that one. I'm also really looking forward to Even If We Break by Marie K. Nijkamp. I loved This Is Where It Ends by her, and I really just am excited to read more by her. I've also read Before I Let Go and really enjoyed that one too. I read that in one sitting, so I'm very excited to read her newest book. And I'm also really excited to read The Reckless Afterlife of Harriet Stoker by Lauren James, another author that I really love. Really excited to read this one. I actually got an article on NetGalley, so hopefully I'll get to it soon. But yes, these are all books you should check out as well. They're very good. Well, I assume they'll be very good. They're by good authors. The next question is biggest disappointment, and for that I've chosen The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. I didn't hate this book, but it really did disappoint me. I had such high expectations because I loved The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue so much, and this one was just boring compared to it, and it just wasn't as good in any way, and I was really let down. Disappointment. The next question is biggest surprise, and I have gone with Eight Will Fall by Sarah Harrion. This came in a fairy loot box, and I'd never heard of it before. I didn't really think much of the synopsis. It just sounded like it interested me enough to give it a go. I think I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I read it ages ago in January, but I remember absolutely loving it. It was so not what I was expecting. It really surprised me in a very good way, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet, and I'll leave my review for this one linked down below as well if you want to see more of my thoughts. The next question is favourite new author, and I have gone with Beth O'Leary. Once again, this book didn't come out this year, but I read it this year and I loved it. once again, 5 stars. I listened to the audiobook while doing jigsaw puzzles while in lockdown. It was great. It's such a good book. Highly recommend. I'm very excited to read her next book. I don't have it yet, but I need to get my hands on it because I'm very keen to see what else she comes out with. The next question is book that made you cry, and for this I've gone with You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I don't have my copy yet. I listened to the audiobook from Scribd, but I have ordered a copy and it should be here. Maybe tomorrow, hopefully, fingers crossed. I really want a copy for my shelves. That book was so good. I would have cried a lot more, except I was listening to it at work and so actively trying not to cry. But it was amazing. If you haven't read it, read it because it was so good. Next question is a book that made you happy. And for that I've gone with Manfred Saves the Day. And this is by Caitlin Major and Kelly Basto. And this is a graphic novel set in a world where cats are like big and walk around on 2 legs and have jobs and talk and are basically like the people, and they own pet men, and it is just absolutely adorable. I love cats. This is book 2. I saw book 1 at Yauk a few years ago. That's where I first found out about it, and I just knew I had to buy it, and they're just so cute and so much fun and just such a feel-good read. And if you like cats, read these because they're really cute. The next question is favourite review you've written this year, and for this one I've gone with Let's Talk About Love by Claire Can. I only just finished this book. The review for this only went up today, so very recent, but this book just meant so much to me. It was so relatable. The main character is asexual, and this is the first book I've ever read that has had an asexual main character that has been this relatable for me and this like focused on the asexual side, and I just loved it. And I wrote a rather personal review about it, which I would have to say is my favourite review of the year, and I will link that below obviously. And read this book, 5 stars. The next question is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year, and for this one I've gone with The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. This came in a Luma crate. I wasn't super excited about it, but just the beauty of this book has got me excited. It is so shiny and pretty, and it has these black sprayed edges, which I love. Black sprayed edges are my favourite colour, especially if part of the book or all of the book itself is black. And then under the jacket is stunning, absolutely stunning, and the spine is just stunning, and the end papers are really pretty. I can't get over how gorgeous this book is, and it's made me a lot more keen to read it, which I know is ridiculous. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but we all do it really. And I'm very excited to read this one now just because of how beautiful it is. And the last question is books you need to read by the end of the year, and for this one I've gone with books 2 and 3 in the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. So these are The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. I read book 1 earlier this year, really enjoyed it, and I just really want to finish out the series before the year is out, so that next year I can read his next series, Wax and Wane I think it's called. Either way, very excited to carry on with more of his books and to read these ones. So that is it for the mid-year book freakout tag, but before I go I just wanted to draw attention to my amazing new dress. It's like a book print dress and I love it, and it arrived yesterday, so I just want to show it off. You all have to appreciate my amazing dress. But yes, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Keep an eye out for Beth's video on Wednesday, and I will see you next time. Bye!